talked about boxing.
I don't know what happened.
If that's something that you believe you can do, no matter how many times you get knocked down, guess what? You can get right back up again. Because you got the belief and the trust to know that you can. It's whatever you think in your mind and in your heart. If you believe it, you can achieve it. It says belief, as Coach just said, belief works. Well, belief works with both faith and fear. And you can believe in faith or you can believe in fear. You can believe in either one of those. You can believe in either one of those, faith or fear. But check this out. You're going to believe in something. Why not believe in the one that's going to take you forward?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
It's kind of personal, though. What do you have faith in, Anthony?
I have faith in a lot of stuff. I have faith in doing better. Like last year, my grades wasn't like up there like that, but I had faith that I'd do better. I had told Maroma I'd do better, and then this year I was making like straight A's and B's.
That took work, though. Just not faith, and that's it. You gotta actually do work, though, for that, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Work for it.
What you fear?
What do I fear?
Yeah.
I fear not graduating.
Okay.
Okay.
And what you doing to, I guess, what you doing about that fear?
I just want to prosper for this year.
Where? Okay. What you fear?
I feel that I keep hanging around with the same crowd, I might end up places that I'm not supposed to be.
Okay.
Now you stop hanging around with people, or you still hang around with people?
I stop.
You stop? That's good. What you got faith in?
Me?
Yeah.
Myself.
Yeah. Yourself. Okay.
I have faith in me getting better grades, better than B's and C's. I want A's. I'll get on straight A's, but it's kind of hard. Like the math class was hard as heck.
You got a tutor? Okay. Okay. No, it's hard.
Where you going with that?
I just wanted to see, where their mind was at, really. That's all. Just opening
I
up,
just
see what's
wanted
going
to
on. Yeah.
Okay.
Get them involved.
That's it. Belief requires courage, man. Because this is getting to the point where that's what I'm about. Courage, man. I'm about courage. You see, the thing is, you can have two types of courage. You can have moral courage, and you can have physical courage. Anybody know what moral courage is?
What are morals?
What are morals?
Yeah, what are morals?
What are morals? Anybody? Morals are basically doing the right thing even when nobody's watching. You know, if, for instance, you said hanging around the wrong people. If you're hanging around the wrong people, you're going to get into the wrong thing. Basically, if you're hanging around the wrong people, if they're stealing, or they're doing drugs, alcohol, or things that are going to take you away from your purpose and your destiny, as we talked about before, if it's going to take you away from that, if you're getting into that type of, it's going to take you out of your morals. Your morals is, I don't want to be around this anymore. I don't want to be around somebody who steals. I don't want to be around somebody who drinks. I want to be around someone who does drugs. I don't want to be around that because it goes against my morals. The moral courage is what? Being able to stand up and say, you know what, fellas, I like y'all. Y'all great. I got to roll. I don't want to be around that. Personally, when I was growing up, one of the things I did, I hung around 5 guys and we hung around with each other. Us 5 guys, we hung around with each other. And if one of us did something that was immoral, we would tell the other, yo man, you either get that right, man, we're not gonna hang out with you. Period. He would either conform with us or we cut him loose. Why? Because we knew that what they were going to do was somehow going to come back and affect us. Now, what's physical courage? Come on, y'all athletes, y'all did something with that. What's physical courage? No, if you're going to do just what Shani just said to you all just now, you said the one thing, you want to get better grades. Because you want to make sure, it's going to take some type of physical thing for you to do. You're going to have to physically get into the books. You're going to have to physically start understanding what you need to learn. You have to physically start doing something to accomplish what you need to accomplish. You got to physically do it. It's going to take it's going to take effort. It's going to take work. It's going to take drive. It's going to take motivation. It's going to take inspiration. It's going to take everything for you to do to get better at what you want to do. You said you wanted better grades. You said, I'm going to get better grades. How am I going to get better grades? I got to study. I got to put the grind in. I got to make it happen. That's physical courage. So there's a difference between courage, moral courage, and physical courage. When you look at this right here, belief requires courage, the ability to do something that frightens you or frightens one. It basically, you know what? I'm going to make this thing happen. Here's the thing. The first time when I was in the Marine Corps, the first time that I used to have to hang out of helicopters. I never hung out of a helicopter before. Man, the first time they took me up and they dropped that thing and said, stand out. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Here we up, 1,500 feet or so, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Scared. But after I did it the first time and I realized I was good, I said, you know what? Hey, I can step out there. Rappelling off of cliffs, 10,000 feet up. First time it was like, I'm going to die. But I did it. You got to have the belief to say, you know what? I can do this. I can do this. Does it scare me? Does it frighten me? Yeah, it does. But you know what? Carlos, you know what? I can do this, man. You know what? I can open this book and I can do this. I feel good about what I can do. I can get inside this book and I'm going to break this thing open. And guess what? I don't care if my boys come up and say, yo, man, come on, man, let's go hang out. Let's go run some girls. You know you got a test in the morning. That girl ain't going to be there to test with you. You got to run that test. You the one got to do it. Yo, man, y'all go ahead and run. I got something I got to do. It takes courage to stand up to your peers, man. It takes courage to do that. Somebody read that. Anybody? Go ahead.
I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not the one who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers the fear.
Who is that? Who's that said that? Y'all know who he was, right? Political prisoner for 25 years. For nothing. Just a political prisoner for 25 years. I am the captain of my soul. William Hensley is the poet that wrote that. But Nelson Mandela said that every single day. Why? Because he said, I refuse to die in this situation. And you got to have that same thing inside of you. Regardless of what you're going through right now, whatever put you in this position, guess what? You got to say, you know what? I refuse to settle for this right now. That's what courage does for you, man. Got to have those eyes right there. It's not the eye of a tiger. It's more the eye of a wolf. But you got to have the eyes. You got to say to yourself, you know what? Whatever is facing, whatever is looking at me, I can look back. I can look back. Our deepest fear is not the lack of power. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. Man, y'all, somebody talk to me on that. Somebody talk to me on that. I'm ready to get hyped. I got to back up a little bit. So anybody, tell me what you see in that. I give you a moment to look at it. Go ahead.
We do more things than we are. Like, we're capable of doing more things.
We're capable of doing more things. That's good. So we'll help them out.
Us is stronger than we think we are.
Stronger than what we think we are. Anybody else? Chris? Ann? John? Got anything? But y'all get the gist of what that is saying, right? Everybody get that? In other words, a lot of times we're not fearful of what we cannot do. We're fearful of what we can do because it becomes successful. Now that we become successful, guess what? Does people expect more from me now? Do my parents look at me now and say, now that you got an A with this, are they going to require me to get an A all the time? Am I going to have to work that much harder? Am I going to have to work that much harder? It's not the lack of power. See, and I'm going to get a little biblical here. That's what I do. You see, it basically says, I can do all things through Christ who can strengthen me. Okay? I can do all things. I can move whatever mountain is in my way. Whatever it is that's trying to hold me back, I got the power to be able to do it. I got the power to be able to do it. It's not the fact, trust me, let me explain something to you. Now, I'm not going to speak for my brother, but I think they can appreciate it. There are things that we're still trying to accomplish today. Sometimes we're looking like, and we're trying to push our way through it. We come in front of you all, we don't come in front of you all with a confidence that we know everything. Every day I come in front of you all, I say a prayer. Why? Because I want to make sure that I'm not led by what I can do. I want to make sure I'm led by the power of God inside of me to do the right thing for you. Because guess what? Your lives are in our hands. That's a big responsibility, man. I don't take that lightly. Coach don't take it lightly. Chauncey don't take it lightly. I said Chauncey. I was thinking about somebody else. You know.
Yeah. No, I wanted to jump in on this comment right here real quick too, because one of the reasons why I was included in this slide is because of how I felt about that comment. It's part of a bigger piece of writing.
Right.
I'll call it, because it's not a poem or nothing like that. It's a piece of writing. But the fact that it talks about, it started off by saying, or asking our deepest fear, or stating our deepest fear. Because you guys were asked earlier, I forgot whether it was either Chane or Rev, you know, what were some of you guys' fears? And Anthony, I mean, the question about what is your deepest fear is that one fear that you can hone in on that might be holding you back right now, whether you realize it or not. But also what it says in that statement too is, when it says our deepest fear is not that we lack power, but our deepest fear is that we're powerful beyond measure. That's something that I see a lot in young people. It's something I see a lot in young people. And believe it or not, this saying and this piece of writing came from this movie. I don't know if you guys ever seen this movie called Coach Carter. Anybody ever seen that movie?
About basketball?
About the basketball team? Coach Carter was Samuel L. Jackson, and he was in the hood coaching these young brothers in his hometown. And these young guys, you know, were going through all kinds of trouble, and he was trying to make them into champions. And he kept asking them all the time. When he first met them, the first question he would ask them guys, what is your deepest fear? And Chris, they would look at him like, what is he talking about? They would even talk among each other. John said, why do you keep asking me that question? They would ask themselves that throughout the movie until this one day, this one brother, Hispanic brother too, he stood up one day and he just read it out. And he talked about his deepest fear and about how his deepest fear was that he was powerful beyond measure. And I see that in a lot of young people because, like for instance, Johnson, we talked about courage the other day, not the other day, earlier, and about how courage overcomes fear. Well, I'll give you an example of some of a situation that encompasses courage, fear, and being powerful beyond measure. It takes courage sometimes for you guys to be willing to show your peers that you're smart. Yeah. That you're smart. You might actually sit in class one day and the teacher might, let's take one of the hardest classes you got out there, and math class. You said math was hard, right? you take a math class. Johnson might be sitting in that same math class with you that you think what the teacher's talking about is hard, and Johnson be sitting there in the back row. How does he say that's hard? X equals C minus squared. You multiply by 3, you just subtract the X, you move the X to this side. It's easy. To you. But then you may not want to say nothing, because if you be like, if you go up there and you bust out the problem in front of everybody, then you got a guy like Ant or a guy like Chris be saying, yo man, he a nerd. This dude, he you know, he's soft, or he's a nerd, or you don't want to be a nerd in class, right? That's the worst thing you want to be in school. You don't want your boys to let you know that, you know, you're that smart sometimes. And it may not happen to any of you guys in here, but trust me, I've seen a lot of guys that be holding back because they don't want their boys to think that they're smarter than them. Because a lot of times, if you show the guy in front of you that you're smarter than him, sometimes guys who aren't that smart resort to physicality because they can't use their brains. So if they think that you're trying to flex your brain and how smart you are, they're going to flex what they got, which is big muscles, and try and take you out because you're trying to act smart. And so that's what I mean by sometimes your fear might be that you're powerful beyond measure, but you don't want to let your light shine because you feel like if you let your light shine, others might feel uncomfortable around you. And if they feel uncomfortable around you, they may try to hurt you.
Yeah.
Mm.
And that's what they mean by you being powerful beyond measure.
I can give you a real life story on that.
Mm.
That happened to me. 5th grade, Current Street School. I just naturally like to learn. And because the teacher would call, I just answered. And guys in the class, oh, you think you all that?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, because I'm answering the question, I think I'm all that. So as a result of that, they came up and said, because I was doing what I was supposed to do in school, I got nominated to be a safety patrol. Y'all know what those things are, right? Safety patrol. I was nominated to be a safety patrol. And guess what? Because I got nominated and selected to be a safety patrol, the same boys, there was 5 of them, oh man, look at you, think you all that. After school, I'm wearing a safety patrol thing with my son, and them jokers jumped me. They jumped me. 5 guys jumped me because they say, you think you all that in school. Now, I fought back. It was kind of tough when 2 holding you and the others beating you, but I fought as much as I could. But that's what happens. That's what happens.
Mm.
So fellas, you know, don't have any excuses for trying to take your success or overcoming your deepest fears. See that little caption right there? Y'all ever see that movie right there? 300. Exactly. Called a man's movie. My wife don't like it, too powerful. But the thing is, he had to overcome his fear. And he realized, you know what? I can do this. And that's the same thing you have to say to yourself.
He also realized if I don't do this,
He
today
did.
might be my last
That's
That
true.
would be his last day.
That's a good point.
He didn't have a choice.
Good point.
He either did it.
Hey, sometimes the best
So guess
time
what?
is when you ain't got no choice.
Sometimes when your back up is against the wall, guess what? Because I think both of them was thinking the same thing. The animal and him. But he had a deeper belief of what he could do. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. For without faith, it is impossible to please him. That comes from a scripture, favorite one, Hebrews 11:1. All right? Or that part goes 11:6. But, you know, now faith is the substance of things hoped for. In other words, faith is not a blind, it's not jumping